Hi guys, my name is Lela Sophia. I am an artist and fine jewelry designer. If you like contemporary fine jewelry, if you like luxury handbags, all things interiors, then I have some fun videos for you. You guys, today I have a kind of a more like discussion video. I wasn't sure exactly how to format this, but I have a lot of thoughts and I feel like it kind of combines a lot of things that I talk about often, but in one space. We're gonna talk all things the row and how to style the row more so like you, more so like how Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen implement their own styles. They're kind of ever ebbing and flowing, changing, growing, evolving styles, and how you can stay true to yourself but still collect from this amazing brand. If you guys are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you in all of my future videos. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram at Lela Sophia Jewelry. I put up videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and so I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Okay, so as I said in my intro, you know, it just is such an interesting topic, and this video actually was kind of spurred by an amazing conversation with someone who I just love so much on social media. She is an incredible collector of the row and Bottega. So, you know, I immediately knew we were right there with each other. We probably also just have like very similar tastes and styles. And we had this whole conversation, which I won't invade her privacy too much, but I found it so interesting and we so bonded on so many topics. And I want to just make sure that I never, ever want to offend anybody, because so many people have been putting out gorgeous outfits together with the row. Just take everything that I say with a grain of salt, because I love everybody's style so much. And we also know that I'm not a trend gal, I'm not a social media gal. Just have to disclaim that and say, because so many people have been putting so many gorgeous outfits together in this kind of as I said in my last video showing my glove bag from the row, in this new era, which I never thought would happen, where the row is kind of trending, dare I say that word. You guys know I'm very anti-trend. For those of you guys who are new, I've been dressing the same boring way for at least 10 years, really 11, 12 years. My aunt was, you know, the most beautiful New York City dresser. I saw somewhere it was Janae and Cassie talking, and Janae asked Cassie Thorpe, you could describe your style in 3 words, what would it be? And mine, I was chic, minimal, New York. My aunt taught me how to, she was an Upper East Sider, and she taught me how to dress, and maybe people say it's dated, but I really am just simple all black layers, and then I throw in a kimono, throw in a cool oversized jacket, throw in something over top to kind of give a chic edge to my vibe. But long story short, I'm so minimal and basic. And in this, you know, in my even anti-trend, very never changing style, I love watching people's style change. My brother is the best example. His style changes constantly, and he does each one so beautiful that I'm quite envious of it, quite frankly, because of my body type. Anyway, this is a topic for a different video. Because of my body type, because you know, luxury clothes are not really as accessible to me as a plus size woman, I figured out what I like. I figured out what works for me, and that's what I'm sticking with. But all of that rabbit hole was to say, it's an interesting thing. I have 5 or 6 bags from the row. I'll place it on the screen what the correct number is, but I just got my most recent one and I'm so in love. My mom has been a collector since the row came out with bags at Barney's. I remember when it launched, we were obsessed. She is the GOAT. She immediately went over to them and said, I will be needing one of these bags. It's amazing. So to now watch, especially on TikTok, especially on the quicker kind of social media platforms, to be watching the row trending, it's an interesting thing to see. I kind of envy and I love the way people put their outfits together, but I also realize there seems to be almost a formulaic thing of how people think. A lot of people, again, this is just truly just my own opinion. I think a lot of people dress how the row runway models dress, which is so funny because I haven't experienced this, seeing this in any other brand. A lot of people buy a Louis Vuitton bag like myself, that I just bought one, and put it in their own style. You're not all of a sudden copying a runway look from Louis Vuitton. You're putting a bag that you really love, that you purchased, hopefully that you love so much, with your own style. With the row, there's this really interesting phenomenon where a lot of people are really emulating the row runway. And my conversation, to bring things back full circle, sorry, again, this is more of a freeform video going on here, not my strong suit, conversation with someone who I'm just like, I so admire on social media. You were saying that like, I think so many people authentically collect the row and have been dressing that way for so long and love it and do that in such a beautiful way. But there's also like a weird void where then it's like, I think a lot of people don't consider is that Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, the creative directors, the designers, the owners of the row, don't really dress like how their runways are. Like they're so, I think, the reason why I love the row so much is because of them. Because I'm a designer myself, I'm a fine jewelry designer, and I've talked about this before, like when I find a designer that I love, like the people behind the brand, that makes me fall in love with the brand even more because maybe it's just a designer-minded thing. I know like what goes into it. I love it when people really see themselves in their own designs. I love seeing the evolution, the change. And it's also so cool as a designer. My clients don't, you know, wear their jewelry exactly like how I do. They put it in their own styles and it's so cool. And it's like the most fulfilling, dope thing ever to see. Instead of just copying a runway look, they put their bags together in the most gorgeous ways. And this is why I love them, because there's so much authenticity and there's so much evolution and growth and experimentation with each one of their styles. I think a lot of people kind of hyper fixate on what I like lovingly like to call their Yoji era. Like I think there was an era where they really were, like they've always been praised. They were like immediately recognized. They were immediately, I think, like bowed down to with their creation from the row as soon as they kind of announced themselves as the creative directors. The quality, the beauty of it, the authentic voice behind it was really quite undeniable. And in that, you know, like I think they had a little height where they were going to more red carpets, where they were doing, you know, a little bit, they rarely do press, but they were doing a little bit more articles, press here and there. And they both were dressing like they were, I think, very much so like Yoji in these beautiful, like drapey, gorgeous, all black. And that was like one era. That was definitely not, that's not how they dress. First of all, now they each dress so differently. They each have always dressed so differently. And there's so much more experimentation than people give them credit for, I think, or some people do, but we have to like look at their very long career of dressing. I have to be honest, for a little while there, I was watching all these social, like this is why I'm like very careful and curated with my own social media following, because I can get a little consumed, I think, as we all can. And I was watching some of these like, you know, the it girlies, like the really cool girls who are styling the row and have row collections and have these beautiful bag collections. And I was like, oh my gosh, like when I take a picture of all of my bags from the row, you're like, what is this? Like it felt disjointed. It felt like weird. It didn't feel like the suede, beautiful sea of brown bags that everybody has. It's actually kind of like some of my quirkiest bags are from the row, which is so interesting for me. And I was like, well, I don't have a Margot and I don't have a Park Tote and I don't have a 90s bag yet. And then I was like, but when I put on each one of these bags, I feel so good. They're back. We already know my thoughts on their bags. The way my mom has styled her collection from the row, like it's so different to how I style it. She just, oh my gosh, she can do no wrong in my eyes. She's amazing. And yet like that, then all of a sudden I had this conversation and I was like, wait, my bags are kind of the weirder bags. They're the quirkier bags. They're the ones that not everybody really knows, but they're the bags that I literally, like my glove bag from the row that I just revealed to you guys, I thought about for a whole year. Nobody talks about it. I tried to Google it. I tried to find outfit inspo pics, see if it was really gonna work in my style. Nobody has that bag. So many styles that I own, like this is not tooting my own horn. This is really saying like my bags are kind of like the odd man out, like the weird kind of quirky bags from the row. And then I realized like, wait, that actually is the coolest place to start. And whereas I love a Margot, and right now for my lifestyle, it is a totally inappropriate size and shape for what I do on a daily basis. Of course, there will be a Margot in my collection one day. I've been talking about it for a year on this channel, especially while it's trending. It's just not gonna be my vibe right now. However, I had like a trending bag, the 90s bag, I now want. And so there is kind of a marriage between, yes, of course, They're bags that are trendy. They're bags that are like in the spotlight right now, are there for a reason because my God, they're gorgeous. But this is my little, you know, disclaimer to just say, there are so many different styles and there are so, like, thank God for the pre-loved market. And here's the reason actually why I have been very grateful that the row is kind of trending, because it has made so many collectors, probably like myself, so many people who have been collecting the row kind of realize that now is probably a very good time to sell their bags, to give them to someone who wants them even more. And so on the pre-loved market, there are so many bags from people who are now selling their pieces, and it has made my life, you know, very challenging, because now I see some beauties come up and it's really hard not to buy them, and sometimes I do. And so whether it's realizing that Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, especially Mary-Kate Olsen, actually loves color, that she loves to play with color, she loves to play with print, realizing that you can have a colorful bag from the row, that's a really cool element. Realizing that you can keep your style as how it was. Like if you dressed Y2K last year, but then you fell in love and felt to the row bag in person, or felt a pair of shoes and fell in love with them, you can merge those two styles. I think those are kind of the two biggest points that I wanted to get out. Whereas each of the designers, who I think are just, oh my gosh, obviously, I don't even need to keep repeating my thoughts, but they're just such incredible individualistic designers, whereas they each dress so differently. They could very well each have one, but I think it's really cool when they might share bags, or if they just have one of the same bags, because I've seen both Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen wear their bowling bag in alligator. It's like almost, it's a very deep maroony brown color. And I love it when they switch, because like, that's the perfect example. That is the example. That's the coolest thing to think about. Like, each of their very differing styles, they can put the same bag, and then that, like, ooh, just makes such a cool moment. It makes your outfit really unique. It makes it so that you're adding you into this style. But just my little, you know, internet video random that probably most people don't care about, saying that, you know, it's really cool to like add in your own style. I'm wearing this kimono right now, and I've worn this exact piece with my Dante bag. Like, that's such a random, not very Rose style way of wearing one of their bags, and yet it's so me and I love it. And because I love that bag so much, I think it's so cool to kind of like mix and match and add in your own taste into something that's already so beautiful, that has such incredible quality in there, that's just like truly timeless and yet so individualistic. And I know those things are opposites, but we love oxymorons here. The last two little points, if you guys have made it this far, one really interesting thing as I'm talking about this is that, especially with the row, any item, not just bags, I know I fixate on the bags obviously because we're a bag channel here, but taking pieces from their collections of past, present, and future years and experimenting with taking them from day to evening is also such a cool way of kind of adding your own taste, your own voice into the mix, because there's such a cool, like, little nuanced design details in each one of their pieces, from the sandals all the way to the gorgeous long floor length coats. That's actually so cool. If you take something that should seem really evening and wear it during the day, or vice versa, something that should be very casual and wear it in the evening, that's also, I think, so authentically the row, experimenting with kind of blur the lines. Like, that's such a cool element. And lastly, possibly the most important point, as the buzzword of the year, and you know, everybody rolls their eyes when they say this, including myself, the row does not just have to be quiet luxury or old money. Like, the row can be loud. The way that, like, Mary-Kate Olsen, there's one picture of her in that gorgeous leopard print coat. Like, does that seem quiet luxury to you? I don't know. I feel like no. There's so many different iterations of especially Mary-Kate's style, who's maybe changed a little bit more in the very grand scheme of things, but Ashley lately has been having these adorable, like, in my opinion, just like sublime changes in her style. More so kind of very much so recently, that like are anything but quiet luxury to me. The row does not just have to be quiet luxury. Yes, the runways are sublime. They're gorgeous. Yes, I repeated that word again. There's something just like so stunning about the runways. But like, you don't have to wear the bags or the shoes or the jackets in that way. Put a leopard print coat on, put a huge mink coat on, put a really cool hair thing on, wear your Row t-shirt with a Louis bag, with a Gucci bag, with a monogram bag. I think that a lot of people kind of, you know, think synonymously, and there was an interview that I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about, where their comments, they're very, let's say, close to the chest comments on Quiet Luxury. They didn't even, I think they said like something very loosely quoting the style we all know you're talking about and want to ask us about. So read that whole interview. It's so great. Mary's Room actually had an amazing video going over the entire interview. There was something just so comical to me about it because I just was like, you can wear the Row however you want to. And the way that I've always looked at their pieces, which I will repeat for the 19th time on this channel, the bag that my mom purchased like 9 or 10 years ago from the Row still looks the exact same today. Exact same. Nothing has ever changed. There was one bag from the Row that she would be like, I just can't stop wearing this bag. I love it so much. And that is what was ingrained in me and why I now just can't get away from them, because the quality is meant to go with all of your changing iterations of your own style. And that to me is the beauty of the Row. Guys, possibly more than ever, I'm so sorry for like the more freeform nature of this video. It's, again, possibly not what I feel like I'm good at, but I'm very curious to hear all of your thoughts. This is an open discussion, and quite frankly, I'm sure there's a lot of points that I even had that I wanted to talk about that I haven't. So I'm really excited to just start this conversation with you guys. And as always, I'm so grateful, and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Bye, guys.